Nation, Harry here. Hey, we reached out to one of our best and most handsome analysts out on the farm, Josh Weiss out of LA. Sir,
Wow, I got a compliment this morning to start this whole thing off.
there we go. Well, hey, the reason I texted you and reached out to you is I wanted to do a quick hitter for the SMB Nation audience, where again we kind of marry the business conversation and the geek conversation. That's kind of what we do. And as you and I are speaking, plus or minus 100 points, the stock market has fallen roughly 2,000 points in 2 days. And the coronavirus is gaining momentum, and stock investors get a little emotional. They claim not to be, but they do. And I was just curious because you're in an investor meetup, kind of in another realm. So you know the word investment. You can talk the talk. Does what I don't even know what I'm trying to ask. On the one hand, the stock market is typically not a great indicator of economic activity on Main Street, and I contend MSPs live on Main Street, serving SMBs. So is a 2,000 point drop probably headed lower, probably headed to correction territory? Do you see that affecting your livelihood as an MSP in Southern California, or those that you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many ways to go about that question, right? I mean, I feel like for a while now, for a good 18 months at least, we've been reading about this correction that's got to be coming. And on the one hand, you asked me about Los Angeles. Los Angeles was just rated the least affordable place to live in the entire country. My largest client is a luxury real estate brokerage. And so, I keep reading these things and I keep thinking one of these days, this is going to have an impact even on MSPs, right? I mean, because let's say if you work in the architecture vertical, if construction funds dry up, you're going to start seeing your architecture clients have less money, right? If people's disposable income dries up, you're going to start seeing your nonprofit clients get less. And it might take, that might take a whole grant cycle to appear. So my basic answer is what we saw today, I think, is going to have no impact on any MSPs for the foreseeable future. But I think the real question, and I'd love to kick it back to you, Harry, is what's the long-term hedge options that we have here, right? I mean, for every business that exists, like as we watch the indicators that say this can't keep on going up and up and up and up and up forever, right? What do we do so we kind of keep our bread and butter in place?
Yeah, well, a couple of thoughts. So taking your example of your client who's in real estate, I've gone through a recession or two in my time. And one thing I saw in the mid 80s, what we call the oil bust recession, was property management firms did very well because the banks were taking back commercial real estate strip malls and that kind of thing. And the banks have to keep the power on so the plumbing doesn't freeze and flood the empty space, that kind of thing. I mean, they have to hire a property management firm. It's a pain, but it is an asset that literally has to be maintained. So that would be a counter-cyclical hedge strategy in a recession, would have been property management, moving companies. Josh, back in the day, it's true, back in the day was vocational technical education. So people would get Pell Grants to go back to school when they lost their job and so on. So getting back to MSPs, the hedge strategy, a counter-cyclical one to me, would be what you and I have talked about on other segments is cybersecurity, right? Here yesterday, here today, here tomorrow. That's not a luxury, okay? A luxury is going to be the latest and greatest mobile phone for $1,400. That's a luxury. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but then I'll throw something interesting back as a counter hedge, which is when you're dealing with the type of real estate that the real estate company I work with deals with, you're dealing with the people at the very, very, very top of the pyramid, right? So another way to go about this is look at the people that are not going to be as impacted by sort of ups and downs in the market, right? Like if you're a Russian billionaire, you might always be a Russian billionaire, right? So, where if you're going for the right kind of luxury, you might see people who are less impacted as well, right? So that's one of my strategies, is that I think that the people that I work with are they themselves are serving people who are less likely to be impacted. So that's another strategy that people might look into, is in the industries that you serve, are we looking at people who are just, let's say, selling houses to a family who's got, who saved up pennies and got 300,000 to buy some property out in the country somewhere? Or are we dealing with people who always have money?
Yeah, yeah. My favorite kind of best friends forever, indeed.
But
Um,
yeah, I have to agree with you that cybersecurity is just, people keep trying to ignore it and they keep catching the consequences. I see it in my own very small circle. I see it right and left.
yeah, yeah, exactly. In fact, you said this past week you've had to take care of a client that had a cybersecurity incident. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that is correct. And these are just basic phishing things. And these are clients where we've gone in, we've done training, we've given them handouts, we're constantly talking about what not to click on, and it still happens.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
It's like, we've got the human mistakes, we've got the systems we have to put in place. It's the whole thing. And the people, and this is a client who was holding in their hands already an upgrade that just hadn't been approved yet, right? So it's kind of a perfect thing. Hey, go ahead and approve whenever you're ready. 'Cause you
Crazy.
need it. But you guys got to be paying attention to these stories and get these cybersecurity projects in front of everybody you work with.
Well, Josh, I'll end on this note. I think the purpose of kind of bringing up a real world ism in real time is to just make sure members of the SMB Nation are thinking business as well as geek. I know for one, it's very easy to, get on my Fitbit watch and geek out and connect it to everything and swimming and all that. That's fine. It's fine to geek out, but don't forget the other side of the aisle, which is business, and everything is connected to everything. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, that is so true. Whew, and if you really want to be safe, just unplug your cables.
Yeah, or certainly turn off Bluetooth, one of the
There you go.
most unsafe standards. But sir, have a good day. Thank you for on short notice joining us to talk about a contemporary issue. Thank you very much.
Got it. Take care.